Hello, Tech Edinam fans. Welcome to this video. In this video, we are going to write a test case to delete a specific employee from the database. But first, let us clear any doubts we have about the web elements. So for that, I have created a dummy page for interview questions. So we are going to use the Get Web Elements to select these buttons, the yes buttons and the no buttons. So when we click yes, it populates in the table. We click no, it populates in the table. So as you can see, nothing is being deleted. Yeah, it just appending to the table beneath. So we are going to use the Get Web Elements to retrieve these buttons. So let's start the process. So let's see if we can use this locator to grab all the yes buttons from the page. Yes, so there are 5 elements matching this locator. So let's just copy, and I'm sure the same for the no as well. The yes has 5 elements matching, the no has the same. So let's go back to PyCharm. So this is where we left off from the previous video. So let's create a file for our new dummy project. So interview.robot, and then we already have the setup over here. So let me just copy everything, paste, and then let's go and copy the URL, come back and paste it over here. Yes, so can just get rid of all of these. Yeah, so when we run this file, it's going to open this URL in the Chrome. So let's write a test case. Let's make it trying out get web elements. Then we can just tag it. Let's say web. So when the page opens, what do we want to do? We want to wait until the page contains element or the element is visible. So let's use that keyword, and let's recopy this one as well. Let's go back and paste it here, and let's wait for 10 seconds. Let's hit the Control D to duplicate, and we can do this as well. So at this point, the no buttons and the yes buttons should be visible on the page. So what do? We use the Get Web Elements and then the locator. So we have no, and then let's duplicate, and then yes. So it's going to grab all the buttons on the page that match this locator. So no, and then a yes, but it returns a list. So we have to store the return value in a variable. So 1 for the no and 1 for the yes as well. So yes, B, T, and S. So at this point, we would have grabbed the no buttons and the yes buttons. So those buttons will be stored in this variable, in this list variable. So now we want the length of any of them. since they are all 5. So you can just grab one of them and check. So let's use the length of the no variables. So now that we have the length, what do we want to do? Next up is to write our for loop, the for in range loop. So counter, let's use I, and we start from 0 and then end at the length. And the optional steps are not needed in our use case, so we remove it. So we want to click the elements on the page. So let's click the yes buttons first, and then we reference the variable I by doing it like this, and then let's click. So let's wait for, let's say, 1 second before we click the yes, and after we click the yes as well, let's wait, and then we click the no. So no buttons. Yes, so you're going to do it 5 times from our use case. So let's run it and see if the get web elements keyword is working, because the page is not refreshing. So I want us to compare this one and the previous get web elements from this register employees, because from this page, anytime there's a deletion, this component refreshes, so it sometimes caused problems. That's why a few of them are deleted and the rest are not deleted. But for this, the page or the table component does not refresh. So let's see the difference. So we have the robot command. Let's include web, and then the output directory to be logs, and then the file to run, that is the interview.robot. So let's see. Yeah, as you can see, it's clicking. Yes. So with the help of the get web elements keyword, we've been able to click through all the yes buttons and the no buttons on the page. Let me run it again. And this time around, after all the buttons have been clicked, I'm waiting for 10 seconds before the test case finishes executing. So let's run it again. Yes, so it's clicking all the buttons on the page. Yeah, so now it's waiting for 10 seconds. Now this get web element worked for this page because nothing is being refreshed. It's just appending them to the questions and the chosen answer to the table. Nothing is being refreshed. So that's how come we don't get that error, that stale element not found error from previously. So that is it for this part of the video. Now let's go back to the register employees and try and delete a specific employee. I have re-registered the employees already. Yeah, so let's say we want to delete Diego from the database. What do we have to do? Previously, we were clicking through all the buttons, all the delete buttons. Now, suppose we want to delete a specific employee from the list. What do we have to do? So let's check what this employee has, which is unique to that particular person. So he has an ID. So delete 210790. and that is a sec- um, social security number. Yes. So we have the delete text, his social security number, and then a randomly generated ID. So which means to delete an employee, we need his social security number from here. Because as you can see from, let's go to a different person. Yeah, so as you can see, this ID equal to delete is this text delete appears in all the buttons. So we can't use the contains and just pass in the delete text. We need more than that. So we need the delete text and their social security number, and that will be unique. So let's try that locator and see how it works. The row path. So let's see. Um, a button that contains the text. No, we can't use the contains. Yeah, well, we can use it on the ID attribute. So ID. So let's see what happens. Yeah, so we are still targeting an a button with an ID that contains the text delete, and all the IDs, all the delete buttons on the page contains delete in their IDs. So as you can see, we have delete over here. Then we have delete in the next one. Let's see the next person from here. Yes, that person also has delete as a text in its ID. So the only thing we can do is provide the social security in addition. So delete, we have a hyphen, and then let's say 010180 for this particular person, for Jane Smith. And then we have another dash and 345Z. Now let's enter in C. So we have one element matching because the short security number is unique for every person. So now let's remove this delete and see what happens if we still have the one matching. Yes. So we still have one element matching. So meaning we can pass in the employee's social security number to delete that specific employee. So let's go to PyCharm and let's see how best we can implement that. So we have the register an employee keyword. So straight away, what do we need? Delete an employee. So it takes an argument, let's say the social security number SSN. So which means when you call this particular delete an employee keyword, you need to pass in the employee's social security number. So let's see. But before we delete, let's check if that button actually exists on the page. So a button with the, let me just copy this one and make the necessary changes. Yes, and then let's wait for 10 seconds. But now this is hard coded. So we can just replace this hard coded value with the argument we are going to receive. Yeah, so we are replacing this the hard coded value with the SSN value passed in by the user. So if this button is on the page, what do we want to do? We want to click the element with that same X path. So let's see. And then after clicking, we have to check if the name has indeed disappeared from the page. The same way when we added when we register an employee, we check in the table if, I think this was the one. We check in the table if it's there. So now we have to check that it is not there, then which means the deletion was completed. So click element. Let's wait for 1 second. Sometimes you have to wait so the deletion or the person is deleted from the table before the test case continues. So after clicking, sometimes the page does not react in time. So we have to sometimes wait and see. But let me comment out this first and see what happens. If it passes, fine. If it doesn't, we just remove the comment. So it sleeps for 1 second. So wait. We have another keyword. Wait until the page does not contain element. The same way we have the wait until element is visible or wait until the page contains element. We have another one. Wait until the page does not contain element. Because when you delete something from the page, it's no more on the page. So we are waiting until the page does not contain that element after deletion. So let's copy this again. And then let's wait for another 10 seconds. And for the purpose of explanation, let me add another 5 seconds. So, or let's say 10. So I explain on the page what happened. So we now have the delete an employee keyword, but now we have to use it in a test case. So I already have them registered, so there's no point to re-register them. So usually the deletion should come after the employee has been registered. So we can now say delete, let's say Diego, because we have the registered Diego Martinez from here. So now we can say delete Diego. And then we have tags. And let me just name it Diego. And then all we have to do is call the delete an employee keyword. And then pass in his social security, which is this one. I'm going to do it for only one employee because it's the same thing. All we have to do is just call the delete an employee keyword, and that will be it. So let's see what happens. So now we have the robot command, the I, and then we have Diego to be the tag, and then the output directory. Then we have the register employees.robot. So let's see what happens. Yeah, it deletes, but it's too fast. We didn't see what happened. Yeah. So let me before it clicks, let's scroll into view that particular element we want to delete. And then we can now delete. Yeah, so it scrolls into view, the button is wants to delete. And let me sleep for 1 second. Let me make this 5. Now there's going to be an error because that employee has already been deleted. So now let me just use, let's say, Gretchen. But I'll just maintain the tag and the test case name. So see. Yeah, so yes, the Gretchen has disappeared. So that's how come, or that's how we can delete a specific user, so, or employee. So if you want to do for all of them, like how we've done for the register Jane Smith, register Michael, blah, 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 you can just do it. Delete John Smith, delete Jane Smith, Gretchen, Diego, and so on. And just apply the social security number of that employee to the delete an employee keyword. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to subscribe, like, and share because more content is coming. Thank you.